world. It's your brother Silent Sound tapping in with another episode of the Silent Conversations podcast, where we speak about peace, positivity, and perspective with the goal and aim to help us all to self develop and grow into a better version of ourselves. As we know, if we master our day, we master our life. So let's tap in with another episode. I know it's been a while since you've heard from me, but this is the main thing that I wanted to speak about today, and that was not feeling guilty about the decisions you make to better yourself. One of the beginning principles of starting down this development journey is sacrifice. And sometimes you're going to have to sacrifice uh, things that may be beneficial to others for things that are more beneficial for yourself to improve in order to have a better contribution to be able to offer other people. So, me personally, I needed to take some time away from doing all of the routine things of maintaining a podcast and promoting a podcast and actually get my life in order. A lot of decisions get made every day, and a lot of times we try to balance these things. We have that ideal work life balance, but we know that that particular ideal is subjective. Balance in itself is something that you have to achieve or have to discover and design or define for yourself. When you want to find balance in something, that's what you have to achieve. You have to be able to analyze your situation and say, what is balance? You have to put your priorities, put your responsibilities, your desires, your temptations, and put them all on the scale and weigh them out to see what do I need to take off? How much of this can I add on here to be able to keep my priorities and responsibilities in the proper perspective and then still be able to achieve these desires or these things that I'm attracted to within moderation as well. So these are the things that I've been working on personally. This podcast is about developing into a better version of yourself. And for me, developing to a better version of myself means looking and taking a self-analysis of myself and seeing where can I make improvements? Where am I doing great at? What am I doing okay at? What am I doing? Where am I weak? Or where is there opportunity for growth at in my life as well? And then slowly prioritize what do I want to improve and work on, and what needs to be improved on more urgently than the other. Taking a self-analysis or taking self-inventory is something that I feel is critical to growing as a person because you want to really get to know who you are. So taking that self-inventory, getting to figure out what are your pet peeves? What are your likes? What are your dislikes? What brings you happiness? What makes you sad? What causes you to get angry or upset? What makes you frustrated about yourself? Learning about these things can only help you improve who you are. Me personally, I would prefer to know about myself more than I would want someone else to know about me and be able to pull out my flaws before I'm aware of my flaws. Yes, we do want to be open-minded and be open to other perspectives, but when it comes to self-development and you working on yourself, you really want to take pride in knowing things about yourself to have an edge on your growth so that you don't feel that guilt that comes with others being able to point out your flaws. Because when you ask for feedback, they're going to give it to you. So are you ready for the feedback? But if you're already taking the time out to do the self-inventory, taking the self-analysis and working on those things that may have opportunities, double downing on the things that you're great, improving and getting even better at the things that you're okay at, that's how you get an edge on your growth. And then it makes that feedback that you get from other people that much more constructive because you're not in a position of defense. You're in a position of offense because you're now taking this information and saying, how can I apply it? Okay, I know I already wasn't the best communicator. So now that someone is exposing that I could be better at communication, I was already aware of that. They're able to give me their perspective and I can tweak things so that I can be a better communicator for them. But we have to be open and be willing to receive the same things that we give out. A lot of times it's easy to be critical of others. A lot of times it's easy to point out the flaws of others. But Can we be critical of ourselves? Can we take criticism from others? Can we take feedback? Can we be open to other ideas about the things that we do on a regular day-to-day basis and be able to take those things and absorb and take away what may not be beneficial, but then take what can be beneficial and apply it to our lives? One of the things that I discovered about myself, especially when it comes to the podcast, is how to get back into doing a podcast. Right before I hit this start on this particular episode, I wasn't sure what I was going to speak about, but I know I had to express myself. I knew I had to deliver some form of a message today. So I said, let's just sacrifice, to go back to what we started this conversation on. Let's sacrifice the feelings that you have of not knowing what to say. Let's sacrifice the ideas of not being sure of where the next idea is going to come from. Let's sacrifice the mentality of being able to say, well, I haven't been here for a while. Are people still going to listen? See, the main thing about self-development that we have to conquer is self-doubt. Self-development, everything starts with self, your self-image, your self-motivation, your self-awareness, your self-inventory. You have to be able to take responsibility for yourself and put yourself in position to be able to absorb the lessons that come from life. They come in their most unconventional methods and unorthodox ways and from the most unexpected voices. But that information is what we need to take in so that we can move forward in the next level in our life. A lot of times it becomes difficult in life, or it appears to be difficult, but a lot of times we're just resisting the lesson that we need to learn. We're just resisting the contribution that's given to us so that we can move forward. Yeah, it's going to make us uncomfortable. But what of any true benefit comes from being comfortable the whole time? What person has been able to truly flourish in their life just being comfortable? Yes, there's exceptions. You have individuals who make a lifestyle of being lazy. You have people who they make reality shows about individuals who are lazy, don't take care of themselves, and see what they go through on a day-to-day basis, how other people have to care for them hand and foot in order to get through life. But is that the life that you want? That's the question we have to ask. Yes, they're getting a check. But do you just want that check because of this exception to the rule of how you can get a check? Or do you want to be happy with the version of yourself that is receiving what comes with that version of themselves? Do you want the check that comes with being the best version of yourself? Or do you want the check that comes with being the sub version of yourself, the lesser version of yourself, the flatline version of yourself? Or do you want the one that's more vibrant, the one that's moving forward and trying to become a better version of yourself, striving every day? Me personally, I want to get the version of myself's rewards. I don't want the rewards of today. I want the rewards of who I am going to become tomorrow. Because that's the destiny. That's the true life that I desire, is the one that I'm working towards, not the one that I'm currently in. Self-development and self-image deals with the mind. When I break down who I am, and when it comes to my journey and what I have to work on, there's three basic principles to self-development. There's the physical, there's the mental and emotional, and then there's there's the physical, there's the emotional, or you can say the emotional and the spirit, and then you have the mental. 85% of success, 85% of self-development, 85% of becoming the better version of yourself is mental. It's all in your head first, because the loudest voice that seems to be the biggest obstacle to avoid is the one that we have in our own mind. The one that we talk to every day, the one that talks to us every day. Sometimes that voice is mistaken to be ours, and it could be other projections being projected into our mind. But the question is, who are you listening to? The question is, who's right? in this situation? Who deserves to be listened to be able to improve and get to that next level, to get to that next version of yourself? Because if you're not growing, you're dying. That's why I look at the mindset of think, learn, grow. Yes, you start in the standpoint of thinking, the mental, learning, that's the action. But then you grow. That's the results. So you have to start in the mind. Once you get the mental toughness that you understand that growth is a process, you understand that growth doesn't happen overnight. You don't, well, let me rephrase that. Growth happens every day if you're taking the needed steps and watering that seed and nurturing that seed every day. There's growth taking place every day. The question is, are you looking for full growth and harvest overnight? Or are you willing to look at the progress? Are you looking at that 1% every day? Are you looking at that step that you took that was contributing to your benefit, not that step that you took that was subtracting from your benefit? A lot of times we get caught up in our minds. Again, 85% of growth is mental. So if we can conquer that mental opportunity for growth, it makes that physical that much easier. It makes that emotional, being able to maintain that spirit of growth is that much easier because you mentally have committed, you've mentally made a decision, you've mentally taken a step forward to say, hey, this is where we're gonna go. We're not going to be inconsistent with this anymore. We're not going to feel guilty when we make a misstep, or if we have to take a break. We're not going to feel guilty about that. What we're going to do is we're going to put the systems in place so that if we do need to take a break, things are going to continue on. So one of the things that I said I was going to commit to is I need to record more podcasts. I can't continue to think that I have the time to record on the day of that I need to put out a podcast. I need to already be recording. I need to be recording on a regular basis so that if anything comes up in life, the ship can continue to sail. That's where cruise control comes from. Cruise control, being able to continue to go in your direction that you want to go in an autopilot type of mind state, so that regardless of what pitfalls may be in the road, we're going to keep on going. Something may spill. You can still continue to move. No, it's not the best way to drive. But for this particular example, you want to put systems in place in your life so that when the unexpected comes up, you don't get derailed. You don't get overwhelmed. If you got to get to know yourself so that you know what frustrates you. Me personally, I like to have order. I like there to be structure. I like to be organized. Me personally, be able to start an episode, I need to make sure my computer set up right? Do I got it plugged in? Are we charged up? Is the microphone sitting in the right spot? Am I sitting? Is my posture the best that it could be? That's the things that I need order. I need to make sure all these things in order so I can deliver the best performance for myself in that particular position. Yeah, there's nerves. Yeah, it could be better if I have some notes prepared. But if I look at everything from a critical standpoint and not from a grateful standpoint, to say that, well, at least I'm started. Yeah, each episode is going to continue to get better. That's one thing that I said when I started this. If you were to look at the audio from when we first started and the audio now, the audio improves. We want to continue to deliver the best on a regular basis, not just the best when we feel like it. We don't want to just do the podcast when we feel like it. We don't want to just chase our dreams when we feel like it. We don't want to get our responsibilities and our priorities done when we feel like it. We want to take the time out and be intentional with everything we do so that we can achieve the goal that we want to achieve it in. Because if we don't, we get caught up in guilt. We get caught up in reminding ourselves what we said we wanted to be. And then when that time comes up, we're not there. So we get more discouraged. We get more upset with ourselves. We get more frustrated with the process. Like, why is this not working? It's not working because you're not working. It's not working because you're not putting in the right work to get you to where you want to be. When you're doing things at a 50% level, you're going to get a 50% result. But if you go all in, like Eric Thomas always tell you, ET, if you go all in, if you put all the chips in there, then you're gonna get what you're gonna get an all in result. But a lot of times we get caught up in a position where we're not going to go all in. We might go 50%. We might go 75%. We may even go 95%. But we've always got that little bit of doubt, that little bit of guilt, that little bit of regret, that little bit of pride that stops us from going all in. And that's the thing that's stopping our dreams from becoming exactly what we want them to be. Yeah, there may be hints, there may be peeps and previews of what we want that appear in our life, but we don't get the fullness of the fruit of our labor because we don't put in the fullness of the work that it takes to bring that seed into full maturity so that we can really reap the rewards that we sowed. That's really where this particular episode is about today. We have to get over that guilt of what we did yesterday. We have to get over the guilt of what we're not doing and start focusing on what can we do now? What can we maximize now so that tomorrow we don't feel that guilt? Yes, yesterday I could have done this, that, and the third, but today I'm doing this so that tomorrow I will not feel that. Today I'm going to accomplish X, Y, and Z so that tomorrow I don't feel guilty about that and I can work on some new set of tasks. I can now double down on some work because I got the momentum to be able to move forward. Self-development is about growth. Self-development is about process. Self-development is about journey. None of these things have to do with the destination because every milestone, every step that you take has a reward. It has a form of a finish line. Yes, you complete the task, but that doesn't mean stop running. That means go to the next task, move on to the next step, hit the next goal, complete and realize the next dream. That's what we want to get our mindset on. The growth and development is 85% mental. This podcast is directed mainly to deal with your mindset. I have a mindset that I put into a book called The 3 Ps, the keys to having better days. If you can master your day, you can master your life. If you can master your day, you can master your life. There's really no such thing as bad days. There's bad moments. There's unexpected situations. There's unforeseen circumstances that befall us all, as we read in the Bible. But there's no such thing as a bad day. Because if we was given this life and the opportunity to live, it's really a good day. Peace, positivity, and perspective. If you ground yourself and understand that, hey, I was given this blessing of life today. Let me use this life as an example of my thanking God, the creator, for this life by doing some good, being positive. Takes us to positivity, doing something positive, saying something positive, thinking something positive, looking at things from a positive perspective. That's that 3 P, perspective, being open to other perspectives, not from the standpoint that you have to follow everybody, not from the perspective that you have to agree with everybody, but being willing to understand that there's other perspectives, there's other ways that people are looking at the same thing that you're looking at. And they have the right to look at it that way. They have the right to look at it the way they want to. They have the right to feel how they feel when you did said action, when you made said decision, when you said words. They have the right to feel and they have the right to see it the way they saw it. But you have to have understanding to be willing to ask the questions, to probe and find out and get that feedback so that you can make the right adjustments. This microphone, when you're in a performance and you have a microphone and you're too close to a speaker or too close to a magnet or too close to another microphone, you get feedback. The first thing that you do is you pull it back. You make an adjustment. That's the same thing we do in life. When someone gives us some feedback, sometimes it's a little abrupt, sometimes it's loud. But you don't want to take that personal. Make the adjustment first. Ask the questions. Is that good? We good? We all right? Is it working? We're not getting that same ringing. We're not getting that same sound. So now we can move forward. Now the performance can move forward. We're no longer distracted by the feedback. We're now making the adjustments so that our performance can be better. The same thing in life. Our journey can only become successful if we're willing to make adjustments along the way. You can't drive the same way down the road. You have to make adjustments. You have to make speed adjustments when you're on the highway. Sometimes it's 55, sometimes it's 60, sometimes it's 65, sometimes it's 70. In certain states, they don't have 70. So you better make sure that you're doing the right speed limit. So in certain countries, they don't have speed limits at all, but you better make adjustments. You got to be defensive. You got to see what this person is doing, what that person is doing. There's adjustments that have to be made along the way so that you can get to where you want to get to. But it's not just about getting there. You have to get there safely. You want to get there in one piece. You want to actually see the results. And sometimes we get so caught up in the result that we forget about the everyday work that we have to put in. This podcast will be one of the biggest and the most impactful self-development podcasts there is. The only way that's going to happen is me showing up on a regular basis and delivering this message on a regular basis. That's the only way that it's going to get there. Me continually bringing you good value. Me being able to continue to bring good guests on here that can bring more value so that we can bring and build this into the biggest and most impactful self-development podcast there is. This will grow into something even bigger. There's so much there on the horizon, but it's all great to have the vision. But if you're not carrying out the actions to manifest that vision into reality, then that vision is just a dream or a wish. We want to take those wishes and those dreams and those fantasies. We want to find out the steps that can manifest that into reality so we can turn them into goals. Because what happens when you complete a goal? You get another one. We a lot of times are fascinated about the first dream that we have. But what happens when we actually achieve that dream? What happens when you actually make the desired money that you say you want to make? What happens when you get the desired relationship that you say you want? What happens when you what happens when you get the house and the cars and the money that you say you want? Do you just stop living? Do you stop growing? Do you stop figuring out ways to do more and improve on your life? No, you continue forward. So everything that we have in our mind as a fantasy, as a vision, as a aspiration, as a dream, we want to make those into goals. And how do you know that you turn your dream into a goal? You figured out a plan or a roadmap of actionable steps that you can take that would lead you to that destination. The question then becomes, are you willing to go through the bumps along the way? Because in our mind, it sounds very simple to go from point A to point B. It's simple. I just got to go from here to here. I just got to sell this many books and I'll make this amount of money and now I'm there. I just have to record this many podcast episodes and then boom. No, what about the times when you don't feel like it? What about the times when your equipment fails? What about the times when you have to get more memory cards? What about the times when you your time is all mismanaged and things come up and you don't be able not able to record that day? Are you willing to go through all of that in order to have the most impactful self-development podcast there is? The answer is yes for me, but I'm asking you, are you willing to go through the test? Are you willing to go through the challenges, the opportunities for growth? Go through these layers and levels and lessons. Make those commitments, those choices, and endure those consequences of those, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. Be willing to sacrifice who you are now so that you can become who you want to be tomorrow. It's about taking a step. The same way I took a step today. I'm not the most prepared for this episode, but I said I needed to record something. I needed to do something that was beneficial to my goal. Take a step forward because now that I know that I've started, it gets easier. I was nervous when I started. I was unsure where I was going to go to when I started. But now that I've started, I can make adjustments. I can make adjustments along the way, and now have tunnel vision on where I want this episode to go. We have to get over the guilt of what we did or did not do yesterday and focus on what are we going to do today so that tomorrow we don't feel that same guilt. A lot of times we get overwhelmed. What does it mean when you're overwhelmed? It means you have too much on you. So sometimes you got to put some things down. Today, let's just put some things down. I don't mean drop it all. I don't mean stop doing what you're doing and now you got to start from ground zero. That means put some things down. Just do one task. Just get one episode recorded. Just get one. Whether the video comes out good, whether the audio comes out good, whether the message is clear or not, get one episode recorded. Get one episode edited. Then what you do tomorrow? Do another one. What you gonna do the next time? Do another one. This could be a great episode, but let's do another one. Let's keep putting up shots. What makes Kobe Kobe? He win the game. He's still up there, still taking shots. He's still going. He's still going. He doesn't allow what he accomplished to stop him from continuing to get better. Okay, I got 4 rings. I don't mean I don't need to work hard to get the 5th. Okay, I scored this many points. I don't mean I need to improve something on my shot. Yeah, I got the 81 points, but I got them 81 points a certain way. I need to improve this part of my game so that I can get this a little more efficiently. That's just the mindset. That's that Mamba mentality that we read about and we listen to in interviews because that's his legacy. Continuing to work. Job not done. Is it over? Did we win? Have we got 4 games? The job's not done. There's no time to celebrate. Right now, we got to put in the work. Right now, we got to be consistent. Right now, we just got to put the shots up. It ain't about making sure that your jersey is nice and making sure you got the right sneakers on. You got to make it to the game first. And to make it to the game, you got to go to practice. You got to go train. And right now, training for me is putting up these shots, putting up these episodes, delivering on a regular basis, showing up for myself so that I can show up better for you. Getting to know myself better so that I can get to know y'all even more. Because we are in this together. This particular podcast is about you. This podcast is about you growing into a better version of yourself, not just me. I'm taking steps to become a better version of myself. I'm learning every day. I'm picking up jewels and I'm learning, internalizing, and applying to my life. I do the same thing and turn them over to you because as each one teach one, we all can reach one. This podcast can be the most impactful podcast if it's able to change at least one life. If it can help one person be able to get on a journey of growth from a journey of destruction, then this podcast is successful. That's what I had to learn in my mind. It's not about the numbers. It's not about how many subscribers we get on the YouTube. It's not about how many followers I get on Instagram, TikTok, and all of that. It's about impacting lives, giving my testimony, telling you about my challenges, telling you about the things that help me improve and be able to help master my day so that I have more good days than I have so-called bad days. Not allowing bad moments to take over a good day because every day above ground that you're able to give and help individuals and be impactful, work on yourself, improve your community is a good day. But the choices that we make should either focus on the bad moments or focus on the things to be grateful for is the difference between a good day and a so-called bad day. I challenge you to have more good days in your life. Be grateful for the days that you have because we don't know when it's over with. We don't know when we wake up if this is the last one. So let's choose to make today the best day ever. Let's choose to make better decisions today so that we don't have regret tomorrow. So that tomorrow we're not thinking about yesterday. We're able to focus on that. We're able to focus on the present every day. We want to be presently in the moment. We want to be grateful in the moment. We want to show and do the actions that we need to now in the moment so that when the future comes, we're not looking back. We're looking forward because we're thankful that we put in the work yesterday. We're thankful that we made the decisions and sacrifices and put the time in and the work now so that when we look up 5 years from now, we're where we wanted to be, if not further, because we kept putting in the work. We kept compounding on the good decisions until making good decisions became second nature. And then we started making great decisions. And then we kept making great decisions until they compounded until we're making the best decision every time. And then we keep making the best decision every time until it becomes second nature. And nothing of positive can come from making the best decision for yourself and for your family and for your community every single time. I heard in a podcast on a show, and we're in a time now where we have to take action. And sometimes we get caught up in looking at other people and seeing the actions that they're taking and thinking that we need to mirror or do the same things. And that's not the case. You need to do what you do and make an impact. This podcast has a direction and a mission for it. The ones that get what I'm saying from this podcast are the ones that I'm speaking to. The ones that tune into this on a regular basis. When I look at the numbers, we're everywhere. A lot in the States, but we're everywhere. We got Germany, we got Japan. We all over the place. Thankful for everybody that comes in and be able to take in what we are delivering and feel that it's valuable and want to return. If you're a first time listener, I welcome you here again. This is about self-development. But we have to grow as people. And the only way to grow as people is each one of us individually have to be intentional about growing and becoming better version of ourselves. The best version of ourselves is the best thing for our community, because if everyone is walking around striving to be better, striving to respect ourselves enough to respect everything around us, striving to love ourselves enough to love everything around us, striving to have peace with ourselves enough to want to have peace for the next person, is how we achieve this this level of love that we all want and know is possible. We see it in small microcosms. We see it in small bits of things. When certain situations happens, we see small bits of unity, but we don't see it consistently because we still have a lack of working on self. But once we start working on self more, once we start improving ourselves more with the intention of becoming the best version of ourselves for other people, it's not selfish. It's no good to be the best version of yourself and then at the same time you really couldn't be the best version of yourself if you're not treating people well. But you will want to improve yourself so that you can give more. But you can't give on an empty tank. How can I give someone a drink of water if I'm thirsty? I'm dying of thirst, and I'm going to give you water that I don't even have. No, we need to improve ourselves. What Michael Jackson said, I'm working on a man in the mirror, asking him to change his ways. If we can just work on ourselves, change our ways step by step, and that's not an overnight process. Again, we plant a seed not expecting to get a harvest tomorrow. We're planting a seed expecting that every day we're going to do what's needed for it to grow and to push through the uncomfortable position that it's in so that we can reap the benefits in the future of the labor that it took to bring it into existence. So again, this is the Silent Conversations podcast. It's brought to you by the Silent Store. That's where you can get my new ebook, the new ebook, The 3 Ps, The Keys to Having Better Days. We're continuously improving this. If you like the hoodie that you see I'm wearing, it says "Be original, not to copy." This will be on the website soon as well. TheSilentStore.com. That's where you can get all your merch, all your self-development tools. That's where we're going to grow this up. Make sure you sign up for the email list. You can get 10% off. If you sign up for the text list, you can get another 15% off. So tap in. It's your brother Silent Sound. This is the Silent Conversations podcast. And as always, we operate under peace, positivity, and perspective. If you're not growing, you're dying. So remember, think, learn, grow. It starts in the mind. From the mind, you put a plan together and you start taking actions so that you can see the results. Think, learn, grow. If you're not growing, you're dying. So let's continue to improve. Let's continue to use our brains. Let's continue to move with our hearts. Let's continue to be genuine and intentional with our actions so that we can see the results of tomorrow. Peace.